So you're speaking, but I'm okay.
Good
Hi,
morning,
I'm
Karen.
Karen Morgan. Hey, Chef Christine. This is another episode of our cooking demonstration with the fabulous Chef Christine. My name's Karen Morgan. I I'm a volunteer with AARP Maryland, and I'm standing in for our regular host, Jen Holes today. And we are going to be making something fabulous once again, a tomato galette, which could also be maybe a tomato tart.
You've got it, Karen. You've got it.
Yay! This sounds awesome.
As I was trying to figure out like what we had to do, it's August. So it was either tomatoes or peaches. And my tomatoes, despite the fact that my husband is in a war with the squirrels, my tomatoes are coming in like gangbusters. So I was like, let's do something that looks super fancy, but is super easy. And dare I say, this is not like loaded with tons of fat. So it is perfect for all of our AARP folks, myself included. And I just think you guys are going to love it. It's got a fairly long bake time, but assembly is like that. You ready to go, Karen?
I'm so ready. And I will just point out that, it's great to have a tomato tart because tomatoes are fruit. You were going tomatoes or peaches, but tomatoes can totally win out on that. It's a fruit. So go tomatoes.
It's almost a crime if you get into August here in the mid-Atlantic region and are not using, all the great stuff that we have. So let's start with look at these homegrown babies. Now, I will tell you, I
Oh,
visited a friend on Friday. Bless her heart. She was like, "Do you want tomatoes?" I'm like, "I do not want tomatoes." But I still came home with a whole bunch of tomatoes because she had these gorgeous yellow tomatoes. And I want to tell
oh,
you that in something like this, in a little tart like this, you want to have a nice array of colors. Now, oh, holy cow, look at that. Oh my
that's
gosh.
gorgeous.
Okay,
That is absolutely
so
gorgeous.
the more colors, like I love those zebra striped tomatoes too. Oh my gosh, they're so good. But I'm going
I
to
don't
cut
think
my
I've seen those,
tomatoes.
Chef Christine.
Oh, they're so beautiful. I mean, listen, nowadays, when I was growing up in the 80s, it was, beefsteak tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. That was all that you got. But nowadays, oh my gosh, you get all of these gorgeous
Oh,
babies. Now, hang on. I'm going to put them over here for a second because I want an array, right? So this is one that we grew. I like to garden by neglect, but look at that. Oh my gosh.
mm-hmm.
That's August,
Oh,
man.
I could
I
just bite
remember
right
my
into that
my
right
dad
now.
used to
Forget the tart.
be
Just
like,
give me that tomato.
he used to go, "Oh, Chrissy, don't you want to eat the tomato?" And of course, because my dad wanted me to, I want nothing to do with it. All right, now look, I'm going to add a couple of slices of these little guys that we grew. I have no idea what kind they are, but I'm going to throw a couple of those in just because. And I take the bottom off because I just feel fancy. And
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have to. It's just who I am today. All right, now I'm just going to go with those guys. Look how juicy. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Oh,
Now check this out. We know that tomatoes are juicy, not quite the flying shrimp that we had last time, but we know that tomatoes are juicy. So we're going to take a healthy amount of salt and salt our tomatoes. Now don't worry, we're going to rinse it off. But what salt does is it pulls the water out of the tomatoes. It helps them dry a little bit from the inside. So I
mm-hmm.
have just done a quick little salt here and I put them in a strainer. And I got to tell you, it's already, I don't know if you can tell, it's already dripping on
Mm-hmm.
me. All right. Now, typically, I'm going to let that sit, oh gosh, maybe 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, just to pull some of the water out. And while we do that, we're going to go ahead and get our tart ready because she is a tot. Okay, so this is the cheater. Now, there is this super nice fellow that lives down the street from me. And when I posted this last night and I said, oh, I'm going to be doing this tomato galette, he was like, oh, I've been looking for one. He's an amazing cook. And I said, well, this is a cheater version. You know, you would probably make your own pastry crust. And he's like, no, pastry is not my thing. So for all of you that pastry is not your thing, I present to you the roll out pie crust.
Oh.
Now, have you ever used these?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So listen, if you all want to, if you're like, I just don't want to make pie crust, right? At whatever holiday, fine, do this because you'll crimp it yourself and it'll look gorgeous. All right, now let's see if I can get this guy to unroll. These are readily available at your supermarket. Just go wherever the canned biscuits and all that stuff is. And I pulled mine out so it would soften a little for us. It's going to be a little persnickety right now, but check this out. It is this easy.
Wow.
Now, you don't want to get like a pie crust from the freezer section. We don't want that. That's not going to help us. This.
Now, why don't we want that? Why don't we want that, Chef?
Because it's higher edge. It's a higher edge, and we're not filling this. If it was a tomato pie, I might make some form of a custard to go with it, right? I might do something along those lines to give it a little heft. But because we're making a galette, because we're fancy, this is a little more spare on the ingredients. And I can take wherever I have holes, and look, I just push it back together. We don't care. A galette looks rustic. And I will tell you, almost all of these rollout pie crusts that you can find not have sugar added to them. Don't be afraid that you're going to get something that is sweet. It's not. This is, on the package, it says go sweet or savory. So that's what's so lovely about this. It's really dependent on what you put on the inside. So
that's helpful.
Let's put on the inside. Here's what we've got. Because I'm trying to keep things healthier, I need the most bang for my buck, right? I need everything the most flavor it can have. That's why August tomatoes are so great. We're going to add some cheese to this, but I don't want to go with a wimpy cheese. I want to go with a cheese that has a lot of flavor. So I have a Parmigiano Reggiano. You don't have to go with the fancy one. You can get regular Parm, but I have a Parmigiano Reggiano, and I'm seriously just going to spread a whole bunch on the bottom because this has a lot of flavor in it, right? Parmesan has what we like to call umami, which is that fifth flavor, right? That fifth taste. It's got a lot of umami to it. So because of that, it's going to give us a lot for not a lot of calories. And I just put some on the bottom. And I don't know if you can tell, Karen, but I left more or less like an inch around the edges. And I'll show you why. But
well, wait a minute. I have a question before you go on, Chef Christine. Do you grate your own Parmesan Reggiano, or do you buy it already grated?
Okay. If you want to be a food snob and be who you are, which I am. Okay, I know you love your food. So get it and grate it yourself. But if you're like, I don't have time for that, that is not important to me, buy it already grated. I do like grated over shredded, just so you know. I think it melts a little more easily. So
that
makes sense? Perfect. All right, my tomatoes are giving up a fair amount of liquid for me. And this is a part everybody always kind of freaks out about. I'm going to rinse my tomatoes off. And everybody says, well, wait a minute, you just got water and now you just put them in water. And it's like, yes, but we pulled the water from the inside and now we just did it on the outside surface, right? We We just took a little bit off there. Now, check this out. I'll put it right here. Oh my gosh. I swear, I never understood the romance of tomatoes and all of that good stuff in season. And as I've gotten more mature, we'll say, I get so excited. My very favorite food in the whole wide world is a fresh peach. And I was talking to a friend this morning and I said, I just hit a really sad day because the peaches that I got are, you can tell they're just not as good as they were 2 weeks ago. So I'm a little sad.
Oh,
All righty. Check
that
this out.
means fall is coming.
Gorge. It does. I'm a sweater. I'm ready. All righty. Now I just patted off our tomatoes and I'm going to take them and I'm going to lay them on the Parmesan cheese. Okay. And I'm not going to get too fancy. You can get as fancy as you want. Take it out to that edge. I want it to look really gorgeous. I don't mind if I layer it a little bit.
Oh, those colors look so pretty on there.
Right? This is why you want to have like a really beautiful, really beautiful kind of tomato. And if you've got all the same color, that's fine.
That's fine, but it just looks so vibrant.
It does.
It really does. Oh my goodness.
It's a beauty. All right. Now, I am going to take a little bit of fresh basil because I love it. And I'm just going to tuck it in a little bit. I'm not cutting it. I'm too lazy to cut it. I'll even sprinkle a little. You know, someday I'm going to have something called the Very Lazy Chef.
You are not lazy. You're just working smarter, not harder. That's what it is.
Oh, Karen, you're too good to me.
Well, I want to get fat. That's why.
Yeah. I love the fresh basil, right? I just think it's a super win. And if you're like, I don't have fresh basil, I don't want to go to that time, I don't want to go to that expense. All right, use a little dried. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it has the same effect when you're using gorgeous summer tomatoes. But you do what works for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a little sprinkle of salt. We don't have to go too hard, but I did rinse the salt off of those. And of course,
pepper.
Fresh pepper, right? Because we're not fools here.
No.
And then, just because I'm feeling the love, I'm going to do a tiny bit of olive oil.
Yum.
Now, this is where we get fancy. Look at, I mean, how easy is this? I'm going to take it and I'm just going to fold it in a little bit. And I'm just going to go around the edge, folding it in to kind of enclose all the tomatoes. I'm not being fancy. I'm just trying to make sure everything stays inside.
Yeah, this is practical.
Right? And this is practical. And I'm telling you, these roll-out pie crusts are a dream. And look how gorgeous. I'm telling you, you're going to have your neighbor over and they're going to be like, oh, you're amazing. And you're going to say, yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. Now, so pretty. One last step.
Positively French. It looks so gorgeous. It's positively French.
Okay. Now, I do insist that we show them the pretty. And we're going to go ahead and just give the edges a little bit of an egg wash. Now, I have these great eggs that came from a local chicken, which I love. And they're so yellow and rich. I'm not even going to add water because a lot of times you'll add a little bit of water to an egg wash. I don't even care right now. And I call an egg wash suntan lotion for your food. Because AARP members, we know what suntan lotion is. All right? Now they call it sunblock, but we remember. All right. And I'm going to brush it just in the areas of the pastry. Now, your oven goes, I like a nice hot oven for this. I like a 400, but 375 is going to do you good. If you're feeling so inclined, you can sprinkle a little Parmesan. I reserved a little. You can sprinkle a little Parmesan on the top and maybe around the edges. Now, if you do the edges, I'm going to put a little just on top. If you do the edges, it will bake a little less time.
I see.
Look at that. Okay. Now check that out. Holy cannoli. Do you see that? Okay. Now, I'm telling you, and here's the best part. You can make this in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever it works for you, and then serve it at room temperature.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to take it. I like a little sheet of parchment down because I have lots and lots of parchment. You could put foil, not wax paper ever.
Not
but that'll
wax.
go in the oven at 375 or 400 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. Now, are you ready? Are you ready for our big food TV?
Oh my goodness, yes. And I'll just note for the record, I swear by parchment paper. I get the big rolls at the big box store. I don't bake with anything without. I don't care what it is.
So smart. So smart. We love it. Look, wait. Oh, what?
Oh.
I made one. I made one so I could show you.
The magic of television. I love this.
You didn't want me to talk while it was in the oven. So check this guy out. Holy cow. And I hit it with a little of that flaky salt. I love the really flaky salt that crunches. I did a little of that at the end. How glorious is that? Check it out.
That looks stunning.
Now, you serve this with a beautiful salad. You have a full meal. I mean, look at that.
Sure do.
Look at her. Maybe a little balsamic glaze. That's it. All you have to do.
Do I have to share that? Do I have to share with anybody else? Can I eat the whole thing? Because that's what I want to do.
The whole thing. We're going to eat the whole thing. All right. So this is so easy. And because I know our folks are very creative, think about how you can take this into fall. You can roast squash, right? You can roast squash. Let's say I don't want to roast squash, Chris. It's too much effort for me. Do you know they sell frozen pureed squash at the grocery stores? Get that thawed out, make a base for it. So think about what you can do to keep this seasonal. It's an easy way to show off and to save yourself some time. So there you go.
My goodness. Oh, that looks awesome.
And that's so good.
So good. It just looks rustic and hearty, and it's like begging to be eaten.
It is. And the thing is, just remember, we don't have to get fussy. Everything doesn't have to be precious, right? People love rustic. I call everything rustic. So it's my favorite. And then, Karen, I want to remind everyone, because I know there was a little thing with registration, but we are doing a free class where I'm going to do like a Thai chicken bowl on Saturday. So there is a link for everyone to register. It's totally free. And we usually get people from all over the country, U.S. Virgin Islands. It's at 11 o'clock Eastern time here on Saturday. I would love to have as many people join me as they can. Just find that link so that you get all the information.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. I'm so glad you mentioned that. And we have a link to register for that free class in the chat right now for those of you who are tuning in with us.
Perfect.
This looks beautiful. It's just awesome. Thank you so much, Chef Christine.
Thank you. I so love cooking with you, Karen. And I can't wait to I hope I see you next month.
I hope I see you next month too. We'll have to have our regular host take another child to college. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Why don't you adopt a child and take that child to college too?
Too expensive.
Well, thank you so much, Chef
Thank you.
Christine. We are so thrilled to have you. As usual, you rock. You have brought an amazing recipe. I can't wait to try it because right now I'm hungry. And please join Chef Christine on Saturday for the free class. And in the meantime, you guys keep cooking out there. It's fall's coming, so keep on cooking. Thank you so much, Chef
Yay!
Christine. And from AARP Maryland, we will say bon appetit. Bye.